We wish you a Ranger Christmas. We wish you a Ranger Christmas. We wish you a Ranger Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas from Inside Rangers Football.
Go Rangers.
Get your guns up.
Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. Smithson Valley is one win away from the state tournament as they defeated the Harlingen Cardinals this past Friday in the region semifinals 35-20. Brant Freeman here with you alongside me, Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. And coach, going to the game against Harlingen this past week, first time in the postseason you found yourself behind. You were down to the half by 3, and your team responded very well to its first adversity of the playoffs.
Well, no doubt. If you get this far, that got a chance to happen. We've talked about it before. It's happened a few times during the year too with the schedule we've played. So maybe that served us well. We're kind of on the road in a hostile environment, and things weren't going so well. They weren't going well for us, or you could say they were going well for Harlingen. They made all the plays early on, and we got a little spark there in the late first quarter, and finally we're able to make a little surge, and then second half played very well.
Yeah, you were down 17-7 late in the first half. You get a key touchdown inside of a minute to go in the second quarter. Take us back to that drive and just how critical that was.
Well, I think that was the key stretch of the game, on just a few minutes on either side of the half. You mentioned a good steady drive, had several third down conversions to keep the drive alive, and we knock it in there with about a minute to go. So even though we probably had been outplayed, perhaps, we only go in down 3. And then, the first play after the kickoff in the second half, we get the pick 6 and go the other way. So in that minute or two stretch, we go from 10 down to 4 up, and that makes a big difference.
Going into the fourth quarter, you had the lead, but a big defensive stand for you to hold the Cardinals to a field goal as opposed to getting into the end zone to have the ball inside the 20. Right. Gave you a little bit more breathing room as well.
No doubt. We've got the lead, and they get a long run. It looks like the kid's going to score. Trayvon Merrick, again, is able to get off a block and just make a touchdown save and tackle at the 1-yard line. And the next 3 downs, we not only hold them but push them back, and they kick a field goal, so we're still up 8. If they get a touchdown there, that's a 1-score game, and we could trail. So that was big, and then we went and got another touchdown, put the game away. So, usually big ball games, close ball games come down to 3 or 4 critical plays. The problem with that is you don't really ever know when those 3 or 4 plays are going to happen. So you have to play well every play.
A tip of the cap goes to Harlingen, by the way. You've played 3 really good playoff opponents so far, in Reagan, Stevens, and the Cardinals, and they gave you a game.
Well, and we knew they would. They've got a rich tradition of their own. They have great following. Big crowd was there the other night. They've won a lot of games. This was not their first rodeo, so to speak. They've been there before and won that game before. So we knew what we were getting into, and unfortunately, we were right.
As you look at the way the playoffs have unfolded for your offense so far, you scored 17 against Reagan, lit up the scoreboard, 35 points each of the past 2 games. How do you feel like they're playing right now?
Well, we're playing steady, I guess. We haven't had just a lot of spectacular plays. Very hard to do when you're playing good folks like you do in the playoffs. But third down conversions have been big, and I think we've been better at that the last 3 weeks than any other 3-game stretch maybe during the year. So. Kept drives alive, which also eats up clock, which helps your defense. So, I don't know that we're certainly not playing error-free offensively, but we're doing some things right.
Special teams and defense certainly got to be pleased with how that's worked out for you so far.
It is. Our kickoff coverage played much better the other night. We punted the ball very, very well. We had one big return. Actually had a punt return for a touchdown that was called back on a penalty. But we're doing some things there. Defensively, for the most part, are preventing big plays or explosive plays, making the other team drive it. And, I guess I'll say what the other 7 teams, there's only 8 of us left, probably what all 8 head coaches would say. Right now we're playing good enough to win, good enough to advance.
Again, Smithson Valley did advance with a win over Harlingen this past Friday, 35-20 in Corpus Christi, as now we take a look at the big plays in the Rangers' win over the Cardinals.
Let's take a look. Our first big play is a defensive play. First play of the second half after the kickoff, Trayvon Merrick, our sophomore cornerback down at the bottom of the screen who is circled, makes a pick 6 that gives us our first lead on a short pass that he reads so very, very well. You can see as the play unfolds, the snap, he reads it, He reads the quarterback's quick release, comes out of his back pedal, breaks in front of the receiver, times it so well. And then, of course, he's a talented young man with great speed, and he's able to pull away from the quarterback. And we go from 4 points down or 3 points down to 4 points ahead. Just a real momentum changer for us created by Trayvon. You can see it again from the rear. You get to see what the quarterback sees. He looks out there, sees what he thinks is an opening, makes the throw, but he doesn't anticipate Trayvon breaking on the ball as he did. And, of course, you can see what it does to our sideline and our stadium. Gives us a lead, and we never look back from that point forward. Second big play is an offensive play. Matt Sandoval, our senior wide receiver, who's featured at the top of the screen with a circle, is going to make what we call a double move on the cornerback. On the snap of the ball, he kind of wiggles his route. You can see it illustrated there. And then gets the cornerback to bite or slow his feet just a little bit and then runs past him. Ball is snapped, gets just a step. The ball comes dropping out of the sky, very, very well thrown by Josh Atkins, and Matt makes the catch in the corner of the end zone. Allows us to extend our lead in the fourth quarter. You can see what Josh sees first. Gets the play from the sideline based on what the coverage is. Tells offensive line what we're running. You can see great pass protection. He gets a nice cup to throw from. And then Matt's not really that open, but the throw comes in over the top of the DB, over Matt's outside shoulder for the touchdown. As I said, the touchdown that really put the game away. It's a kick and play. Our freshman kicker, Mason Reed, does a tremendous job of dropping the ball into a voided area. It hits the ground. Two of our seniors, that's Tylen Bynum at the top, or just ahead of, and then at the bottom, also with the arrow, is another senior, Alfonso Bafidas. They see the ball on the ground. They force the player to run back to the middle of the field. When they do, a couple of juniors, Jack Gibbons on the left, Josh Hansen on the right, converge, and we get him inside the 5-yard line. Just a tremendous field position creation by our kicker, Mason Reed, and our coverage team. Here's a look. There's the void we're trying to hit. We don't always able to hit that, but Mason does a great job. You can see him, he kind of changes his angle at the last minute and drops it right over into that voided area, and the ball hits the ground. By the time they pick it up, our two seniors are there. They flush it over to our two juniors who combine for the tackle, and that really ends the game effectively for Harlingen. And those are our plays of the week.
And, Coach, again, I go back to the pick six from Trevon Merrick-Woodard. It seems to be a staple in your playbook this year defensively to score off interceptions.
Well, we have. He's done that a time or two, and Deion Staley's done that a couple of times. And, those kind of plays, not only do they mean 7 points, but those are energizing plays, too. It energizes your team, your defense, your whole team, your crowd, the atmosphere. It has a chance to be a little bit demoralizing to the other team. So it was big, put us ahead and kicked us off really to a great second half.
Going back to the kickoff coverage that we saw in the plays of the week, and going into that segment, you and I were discussing the play of your special teams. To force a team like the Cardinals to have to go so long on the field because of the way your coverage was on kickoff, that's important. Yeah,
those are hidden yards. It's never reported, it's never talked about too much, but when your defense goes out there and defends, in this case, a 95-yard field, as opposed to a 50-yard field or a 40 or even a 70-yard field, odds of scoring go way down. And then if you can stop them and they punt, you've got the ball up around midfield, maybe even further into their territory. Now your offense's odds of scoring go way up because they've got the short field. So all that stuff matters. It's not talked about much, but we pay a lot of attention to it.
Again, the Rangers beat Harlingen this past Friday, 35-20. They're moving on to the next round of the playoffs, and we're moving on to our next segment here at Inside Rangers Football. We're back in a moment.
This is not wire. This is fiber. It's at the heart of the GVTC Giga region.
Ready?
Okay.
Call today and ask for a gig, which is up to 1,000 megabits per second internet speed through the GVTC Giga region. Unlimited long-distance phone service, 24/7 home security monitoring, and free whole home DVR with our HD TV service. GVTC, just plain smart.
If we fight, if we believe, we can't be beat. Let's go!
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
All of our games this year are big, none bigger than this week's game. So before we get started, let's get one thing
straight.
It doesn't count until your elbows are straight.
Get up under him and stand him up.
Straight. Straight. Straight.
Hey Rylan, we're glad you're here today. We're gonna make your teeth perfectly.
Let me guess. Straight? Straight. Straight, of course, straight. Straight. Straight.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Our preview, the region final against Judson, is coming up. It is a holiday season right now, and with that, we're going to kick things over to our Senior Moments holiday theme with our very own Emily Turner.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. Boys, you know what to do. Get those phones out. Text your mama you love her. Text your mom you love her and ask her what she might want for Christmas. All right, Matt, I saw the highlight reel from Corpus. Give it to me. There it is. All right, Drew. What is Frosty's nose?
Work
it out.
Is it a carrot or coal? I think it's coal. No. Oh, button. It's a button.
It's a button.
Oh.
Good job.
Dang it, I forgot that.
Can you sing it for me?
I'll let Nate sing it with me.
Okay, ready? Same time. Ready?
Lean towards the mic. Okay.
You ready?
Frosty the snowman was a jolly happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and two eyes made out of coal. That's where I was getting coal. I was fast forwarding the song.
All right, Alden, last time I saw you, you had a little bit of trouble remembering your mom's birthday. Can you tell me what it is today?
Maybe April 16th.
Oh, snap.
I'm pretty sure.
You got it.
I actually got it for one time.
What'd your mom say about you not remembering her birthday last time?
That every day should be her birthday.
Oh, there you go, and that's
Obviously.
right. That's right.
Oh, she's such an angel too.
There you go. Alden has redemption today. What's up with the hair? You know, I notice everybody's hair is grown out quite a bit. What's going on with that?
You know, it's a long season. We're pretty superstitious. Can't really change anything, so as the season goes on, you know, our hair kind of starts getting longer. We don't want to cut it. You know, we've been winning some games, so don't want to mess with that juju.
Yep, and my mom likes mine like this, so.
Well, do you think all that book balancing act that we practiced, did you continue in it? And if you did continue it, do you think it helped you on the field?
No, not really. I practiced a little bit, but it's kind of hard to double task, so.
Saving it for after season?
Yeah.
There you go. Nathan, tell me what your all-time favorite Christmas movie is.
It would have to be Santa Claus with Tim Allen, mainly because I've seen it as a little kid and it just stuck with me.
Dustin, what's your favorite all-time Christmas movie?
The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. It's a classic one.
Well, that's a good one. Now, is it the one with Jim Carrey, or is it the cartoon version?
Oh, it's Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's such an elastic face. It fits perfectly.
It's true. All right, guys. So watching the games, I know a little something. You have both stepped up and taken a huge role as leaders of this team in the last few games. What do you think it's going to take to beat Judson this weekend?
I think we've been playing great offensively and defensively. Moving the ball, of course, on offense and scoring points in the red zone is definitely going to help. And if our defense keeps playing the way they've been playing, we should have a great chance of beating Judson.
Uda, what do you think?
He pretty much said it all.
There you go.
So, I mean, he really did, so.
You are playing at Alamo Stadium. Is that Christmas present enough, or is there more on your list?
I think we're definitely looking for a little more after this game, but we just got to get through this one first.
Get through this one first, put on the blinders, go through another one.
There you go. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. Back to you.
Happy playoffs.
Go Rangers.
Well, thanks again, Emily, and we get an inside look at what the Rangers want for Christmas this upcoming year. Coach, what do you want under the tree?
Well, besides the obvious, the next 3 weeks, we'd like a favorable outcome. But, you know, I've got a grandson on the way, so we're just hoping for a safe final trimester and an arrival of a new grandson in January.
I've got my fingers crossed for Optimus Prime under the tree this year. I'll tell you what, though, right now in Inside Rangers Football, we're going to send things over to our Little Men segment. We're taking a look at kickoff returns here at Smithson Valley.
One of the most exciting plays in football is a kickoff return for 80, 90, maybe 100 yards for a touchdown. And it electrifies a crowd, it energizes the team, and can create momentum that can perhaps take you on to a victory in a ball game. We've had a few of those here at Smithson Valley over the years, and what we'd like to do is take you to the Little Men and show you just how one of our basic kickoff returns unfolds. As you see here on the board, the opponent is in the dark jerseys, in the black jerseys here, and this represents the kickoff team that's going to run down the field and defend the kick. In the white jerseys are Smithson Valley players aligned in a typical kickoff return formation. We have several, but this is just a basic one. Each of these men is assigned to block one of these men on this side. Let's say, for discussion purposes, the ball is kicked and the man in the back here on this side of the goalpost actually catches the ball. As the team moves down the field, you can see we move them down the field right now. We have assignments for each of our players. Okay? We have one man who moves in from the outside and attempts to block the third man into the middle of the field. Okay? Have another man who's assigned to block the fifth man into the middle of the field, and yet another one who blocks the fourth man into the middle of the field. On the back side, away from the side of the return, you have a similar thing. Turning men away from the point of attack. And you can see creating a wall, driving the coverage team away from the sideline that we're trying to return to. That leaves two players who are able to run down seemingly unscathed, and then we'll bring two men out of the middle of the field and kick out toward the sideline, those two men, hopefully attempting to drive them out and creating a void right here for the return man to go through. When it all works just right, you create a seam and a wall here, two kickouts in a seam there, and a nice hole for the returner to run through that hopefully leads all the way to the opponent's end zone. That's how it looks with the little men. Let's go to some game footage and see how it looks in action. Here's some game clips of our kickoff return in action. You can see the team on the right's kicking to us from the middle of the field. The kick is away. You can see our guys dropping at their angles, and now they begin to start knocking players to the inside of the field. There's one block, there's another block, and now we have two players that kick out or block out the outside defenders to create an alley for our returner to go through. It doesn't always work that way, but in this particular case it did. Two excellent blocks inside, two outside, and our returner goes the distance, and in this ball game, it was the play that probably turned the game around in our favor, certainly created momentum. From the rear, you get an excellent view. You get to see it as the kickoff return team sees it with the ball coming at them as well as the coverage team. Ball is kicked deep. You can see we catch it on about the 8. There goes the blocks to the inside there. There's the two kick-out blocks on your left and one other seal block to the inside on your right. Big alley for him to run in. You know, he was a talented returner doing it for us, but there's no doubt that was an awful big hole. Get a little bit of nudge from our other returner, gets a block on the kicker, and we end up going 98 yards for a touchdown. As I said, big play turned that game around. Here's another view where we actually go to the same type sideline, but they kick it in this direction. Some of our blocks now are kicking out. You can see we have 3 out blocks and 2 blocks inside, and the alley is a little bit tighter, but nonetheless a big alley. In a big playoff game, and we make one final move on the kicker, the last defender who's left, and we go the distance again, and you know, sometimes it's a little bit different. They don't all look the same, and sometimes how we block kids are a little bit different. From the rear, you get another good view from it. We're kind of a side view from the corner, but you can see the ball's angle kick. They're actually trying to kick it over to that side, and we set the return to that side, and there's your 3 blocks that are all going to push the defenders or the coverage men to the sideline. There. Then there's 1 block inside, and then there's your alley for the returner right up the numbers. Usually one guy we can't block, that's usually the kicker or the deep safety, and sometimes we get him blocked, sometimes we don't. In this case we didn't, but he made him miss, and we got the touchdown. A kickoff return for a touchdown. There's not much more exciting than that. Now let's go to Ranger Trivia.
This week in Rangers Trivia, when is the last time the Rangers faced an opponent twice in one season? Is the answer A, 2005, B, 2008, or C, 2011? The answer is B, 2008. The Rangers played Reagan twice that year, and after losing to the Rattlers in the regular season, Smithson Valley beat Reagan in the region finals 19-14 to earn a trip to the state tournament. That game took place in the Alamo Dome. Saturday's game coming up is going to take place from Alamo Stadium. And Coach, as we mentioned, that time in 2008, lost the Rattlers at a tie game in the regular season, came back to win the playoff game. Here's to hoping history repeats itself.
Well, that'd be good. We've done it both ways. We've played somebody twice, beat them twice. We've played somebody twice, lost to them twice. We've played them twice, lost, then won. We've done it every which way. Those games were very memorable. You mentioned the 08 games. The regular season game was tight, and of course the regional finals went down to the wire. So it's going to be a great atmosphere for football.
And we're looking ahead of that. Coming up next at Inside Rangers Football, it's a preview. Smithson Valley and Judson to the region finals as we're back in a moment.
Rest, ice, compression, elevation, every day. Reagan, are you there? Hello? Are you in there?
Pennicky, I'm sorry. I am so hungry. I need some Chicken Express.
Yeah, Chicken Express does sound good.
With our famous chicken tenders and the best sweet tea in Texas, if someone isn't paying attention to you, they're thinking about Chicken Express.
Let me ask you a question. Do you need a video for your business? The bears poop in the woods? I guess that's a yes. Your video can be seen anywhere, at any time, and by anyone. So, what do you think of the video, Nana?
It's off the hook, honey.
Mind blown. I heard it was very expensive to make videos. Not at all when you hire Wick Productions. Do you know how easy it is making a video with Wick Productions? As easy as taking candy from a baby. So there you have it. Successes at your fingertips. Call Wick Productions today.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. The Smithson Valley takes on Judson this Saturday at 1 o'clock from Alamo Stadium for the region final. Winner moves on to the state semis. Coach, a rematch of the regular season. You played Judson in the regular season finale, so only about, 4 weeks ago now, and it was a 27-23 setback against the Rockets. What do you remember about the game?
Well, like most close games, there were a couple of key turning points, a couple of key plays. If they'd have went the other way, you can make an argument that we could win that game. Of course, Judson could do the same thing. They could say, well, we'd have won by more if, but we gave up an explosive play or two on defense. Of course, we put ourselves in a 10-0 hole right away. But then we bounced back and made some plays. But we had a few red zone opportunities where we came away with no points. So a tight game. And, to their credit, they won it, and we didn't. And so we'll see how it goes this time.
I seem to recall the second quarter being your best one offensively against the Rockets. They came in after the first quarter with all the momentum. That second quarter really turned things in your favor. Well,
it did. They had all the plays early. We made some plays in the second quarter, as you mentioned. Their defense is as good as anybody you'll see. They're as good as advertised. And, in the third and fourth quarter, we made some plays, but as I said, squandered a few scoring chances. So if we get the opportunity in the red zone this week, we're going to have to come away with points.
You alluded to Judson's reliability on the big play. They scored 27 points, and a lot of them were home runs in the game 4 weeks ago. What's the key to limiting a team that relies so much on the big play offensively?
Well, you've got to rally the football. One-on-one tackling situations against players who are very big-time playmakers rarely goes in your favor. We've got to squeeze the running lanes, play the game in a phone booth is the phrase we use, and limit his options, and then we got to get a lot of folks to the ball. Now, in this era of spread offense, particularly a spread offense like Judson that relies first and foremost on the run, spread you out all over the field, use their running backs and their quarterbacks. Sometimes getting the phone booth squeezed is very difficult to do, but that's what we've got to try to do.
Looking at the other side of the football, when you have it against Judson's defense, you mentioned that front seven might have been the best one that you've faced throughout the regular season and playoffs as well. What's the key to moving the ball against them?
Well, we're going to have to be balanced. I think a lot of people, when you play a team as talented as they are, well, let's just throw it every play, or let's just run it every play. I think we're going to have to be balanced. I think we're going to have to stay on schedule offensively, stay out of the 3rd and 15s that are really difficult to convert on anybody, but certainly a team like them. And so be able to keep them a little off balance, stay ahead of the chains, take care of the football. If you can't move it, then let's punt them back and see what our defense can do. And those are cliches, but they're cliches for a reason. They're true, and never more so than this week.
Last week on the show, you and I talked about how the rhythm or your routine rather, was a little disrupted due to the Thanksgiving week and school being out. This week, the routine is back a little bit more familiar for you, although the game is Saturday at 1 o'clock. Does that help things at all in preparation for the game?
Well, I think so. School's back in session. You're right back in the flow. They're practicing at the times that they usually practice. They meet when they normally meet. It is a non-school day game, but it's a Saturday game, and it's early in the day at 1. So for the most part, they'll get up, come up here, meet a little bit, and go to the bus, get on the bus, and go play. So it's as normal as you can get when you're into December football, and a little more media hype on the game than normal because there's only 8 teams left in our bracket and only a few teams left around town. So you're going to get reported on. Only
a few teams left around town, and again, all the teams in the district out of 25 6A remain. You played Judson in Division II. It is Clemens against Steele. Any thoughts on that matchup in the opposite bracket?
Well, that's difficult to say. That game went Steele's way during the season, but Clemens is very explosive, capable of scoring a lot of points on everyone. And you just at this round, you just never really know. Usually it'll hinge on a play or two, as we mentioned earlier, and who makes the big play at the right time, who doesn't. But you mentioned 25 6A. If we didn't already know it, I guess it's been proven. Here we all are.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you this Saturday against the Rockets.
Thank you, Brant.
Again, that game is going to kick off at 1 o'clock from Alamo Stadium in San Antonio. Smithson Valley against Judson. The winner moves on to the state semifinals. That's going to do it for Inside Rangers Football. For Coach Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Straight.
Straight. Straight. Straight. I think you're going to take this one.
Ready? Straight.
I got it, Dr. Ferris. Us posse guys always hold the flag.
Straight.
Looking at me with your arms folded up, not looking happy. Dragging your name through the mud, you should roll with a kid.
We may have hit the mother load.
$2,000?
3,000?
Profit!
All new episodes of Storage Wars, Tuesdays at 9 on A&E.
Watch A&E, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 558. GVTC, just plain smart.
Dancing is easy if you break it down into steps. So is fighting breast cancer. Step 1, shop QVC Presents Fanny Shoes on sale. Step 2, get beautiful shoes at half of the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Step 3, 80% of your purchase price benefits breast cancer research and education. Let's fight breast cancer, one step at a time.